We are back. Sorry, man. You were saying I just asked you what's the toughest fight you've had in your amateur career?
Probably in Germany. I fought in Munich. I fought in a beer festival. I was boxing for London. They made me the team captain of the London squad, which was good. And I went over there.
You can't hear it? You can? Sorry.
And I came over there with all intentions to win. And I fought the guy number 1 in Germany, who was very, very tough. He was like number 4 or 5 in the world or something like that. And he was clinical. He was good to
Were you always fighting at 69?
Yeah, so I fought at 64 for many years, and then after 64, the weight just got too hard to make. Like
once you started to get your man's strength.
Yeah, sort of started developing my boxing career, and then once I sort of hit that 19, 20, I just after weighing in the next day, I'd weigh in at like 68. And it'd kill me to get back down. So I just thought I'd make the move up slowly. And I just sort of like grew into the division.
When you're weighing, when you're doing amateurs, are you weighing in on the day?
On the day. So you only get probably
so it's
about
not like
5 hours.
The day before.
Yeah. So you can manipulate weight a little bit, but you're only getting a few hours. So to do it tough is just silly because you're not going to recover and hydrate as much as you like to. It's important that you do, you dehydrate yourself a little bit to make the weight. You make the weight, then straight away you're hydrating again. So earliest you weigh in is like 8 to 9 o'clock, and then you fight at like 3 or 4. I'm lucky they sort of usually push my fights to the end, which is great. So it gives me a little bit extra time to hydrate. But yeah, sometimes if you do it too hard, you start to feel it in your legs a little bit in the last round.
Yeah.
But it's just important that you know the little ins and outs, like pre-fight, to get your energy back up. Yeah.
So sorry, man, you were saying about that fight in the beer garden. So give us like a little bit of context of what that looks like.
Yeah. So I lived in London for 4 months, and there was it's London versus Munich, and I was just we were all in London, and all in London, and then we flew over as a team. There was about 8 or 9 of us, and they named me the London team captain, which was awesome being an Aussie.
So you're fighting with all the British boys?
Yeah, tough bastards.
And
then
over there for 3 years.
And,
nothing like what you did, but I sparred with them a few times, and I was only white boy in the gym at that.
They don't go easy, that's for sure. You have to sort of.
I think it's almost as difficult to keep up with the banter as it is.
Yeah, I know. When I first got there, I wasn't too sure what was going on.
Yeah,
they kept asking me if I'm alright, and I'm like, exactly. What's going on?
What do you mean I'm alright? Do I not look alright?
That's their how are you?
Yeah.
And after a while, I clicked and molded. So yeah, we went over to Munich, and in a massive beer festival, they started drinking at like 9 o'clock in the morning. I was the main event, and it was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had because the crowd was just nuts.
Was it during Oktoberfest?
I think it was just earlier, so it was like mid-June, I think. But like the Germans over there, they love their beer, so they're like it was huge, man. So I walked in the last fight. As soon as I got out of the ring, and they were calling me I was on their shoulders, calling me the crazy Aussie. Like it was a very good experience.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you just have one fight in that one?
One fight in Germany. I had 6. I had 7 in when I was away in London. I only dropped that one in Germany, which was so I had 6 wins before I went over there. When I was over there, and then come back, and then I tore the meniscus in my knee before my last competition. So I was boxing, and I went to go throw a right hand on the bag, and my knee just twisted, and I ended up tearing the meniscus on the lateral. So
on the bag.
So it was a bit of a bummer.
How innocuous those.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was nothing out of the ordinary. Just wanted to go throw one right hand, and my whole knee just sort of like caved a little bit. So I was pretty bummed out. So at the end of my trip, I just sort of chilled. I couldn't do anything. But pre that, I had a good trip. I had a lot of fights, a lot of experience. So
you did your knee while you were over in the UK?
Yeah. So I fought in Germany, and then I come back, and I probably had about a month left.
Okay.
And there was fighting for the Box Cup, which was like the Box Cup is like the biggest tournament in Europe, and it's like to end the season over there. So like, because obviously their season ends early July, so that was like the last big competition. Probably like a week before it, like I just threw one right hand and my whole knee just went, so I was pretty bummed out. So I had 3 weeks left, I think, so it was just good to sort of chill.
Would you have had more fights if you?
Yeah, so I probably would have had about 4 in a row there because they fight over 4 days.
Oh, so the Box Cup
tournament. That's what I was going into.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which was a bit of a bummer because that was the one that I really wanted to do while I was over there. But nonetheless, I sort of got a very good experience being there for 3.5 months prior, which was good.
What was the main things that you reckon you learned from fighting up in Islington?
When I first went there, they were very good. They helped my styles calm down a little bit because I was very like erratic on my feet, a lot of movement, sort of like be very in and out. as a boxer. So it was good to sort of like, they just saw me to sort of slow down your feet. You know, being a strong boy, you can sit on your punches a little bit more. Within the first 2 or 3 fights, and they stopped most of their opponents, which was good. And then they sort of said, oh, like you do sitting down on your feet. So then once I tore the meniscus, I got home to Australia, done like all my rehab for about 10 weeks later. I missed the state titles in Melbourne. And I just thought to myself, like, I've had such a busy year. I'll just sit the rest of the year out. And come the end of the year, they said, nah, because you're a national medalist, we'll sanction you to go through. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went straight through to the nationals. I had 3 fights, ended up winning the gold medal, which was good. That was in December.
So would you say that was a bit of an upset?
They probably thought it was because everyone thought I was injured. So when I come back through to win the gold medal, everyone was like, oh, Jason's back, which was good.
That's awesome.
So it was a good way to end the year because I was quite unmotivated with the knee happening. It really slowed me down a little bit. I thought, I'll just chill out for the rest of the year, won't do much. And then done all my rehab, and I'm like, it was getting itchy knuckles. I was bored. I was just like, what am I going to do now? My knee's fine. I can train, but I'm not training for anything. So I said to my coach, I'm like, put me in for a fight. And then I said, put me into the nationals. Well, if you could try, put me in. He goes, yeah, we'll see how we go.
Coach Kel Bryant.
Coach Kel. So he put me through, and then we ended up winning the gold medal, which was good. So it was a good way to like end the year on a high. Being in London for them 4 months was great. And then coming home from an injury and then ended up winning the gold medal for Australia was good.
To go over there, and I guess you're kind of going into the unknown a little bit by going over to the UK like that, and to have 6 fights and win them, and then fight such a guy who's top 4 in the world. Did you say? That's a big
it was huge, man.
Would you say that was like a breakout?
Yeah, massive for me. So when I had a bit of an upset. So the reason why I went to London was for the Commonwealth Games, the last ones in Gold Coast. I'd made it to the final to the qualification event for that, and I got cut in the second round, and I was up on the scorecards. So going into the second round, I was up. And I was very confident, like through the fight, but he got into like accidental headbutt. So they stopped it, and they said, because it was close to my eye, they stopped the fight because it was quite big. And I was confident. So usually when that happens, if there's a laceration, you go back to the corner, they read the scorecards. Whoever's up on the scorecards at that time wins the fight. So I was very confident that I was up. And then what happened was I ended up giving it to the other bloke. So I was heartbroken.
How does that work? If that's the rules of the technicalities.
So because I had a laceration, there was things that I couldn't go on further. So they sort of ruled me out of the competition, even though that I was up on the scorecards.
And there was nothing that you could have done.
There was nothing that I tried to take it furder. Yeah. So I had a lot of people message me. You would have been I was heartbroken. I thought went back to Melbourne. Sorry. I was just like, I didn't know what to go, like where to go, what to do. Because all I've ever trained for is these big events, and to get to the gold medal and then get ripped away just killed me. So I come back to the gym early on, and then my coach called me, and had some people from overseas that were at our gym as well, and they just said, like, I can link you up from guys in London, which I was very thankful for. And I was supposed to get there for 4 weeks, and then before I had left, I was like, I'll just stick on a little bit longer, and I was staying there for 17 weeks, which was good. And learned a lot to come back to Australia. And then like my style was like slightly different, but in a more positive way, which was great.
Yeah. I mean, London is like one of the absolute hubs for boxing in the world.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my love for it as well. I never competed or anything over there, but I absolutely love my coach, love training with him, lost heaps of weight. Did you find that going over to London was like a massive eye opener for you as to like what it's going to be like to make it as a pro?
Yeah, absolutely. Because over there, like in Melbourne, so if we have one fight show in Melbourne, there's only one every 3 weeks or one a month. You know what I mean? Over there in London, there's 4 shows on a weekend. Like if you don't get matched for the one in this area, you drive 15 minutes and you get matched on the other one, which was great. The more fight experience you have, you're gonna come out a better boxer. Yeah. Like over there, it was great. Like I went to a few pro shows and stuff. The way they do it over there is just different. You know what I mean? Like even the kids, like if you're a GB medalist over there, I can't remember what it is, but you get paid, very well to just box. Like that's what you do as a job. Whereas here in Australia, we're sort of, you win a gold medal, you still got to work, and you got to fund your own trips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guys over there, they just do it very differently, and their passion for it is obviously you can see there's so many kids that do it.
Yeah,
it's huge over there.
It's so funny. Everyone knows how to box over there.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like you'll speak to anyone, and any old bloke on the street will tell you he's boxer back.
Yeah, there's 7-year-olds at the gym running around. Like
you never know who you can.
6-year-old kid. Yeah, exactly. I was walking around the gym very quiet.
Yeah. It looks can be deceiving as well.
Absolutely.
I remember there was dude called Lawrence Acoli at the gym that I was fighting at, and he ended up he was going when I got to the gym. I can't remember what the gym was called, but I was there for a little while. It was guy Brian who used to do the training, and this guy Lawrence was a massive dude, like a cruiserweight, 6'4",
Yeah, he's killing it at the moment.
And and everyone was like, oh, he's going to go to the Olympics or whatever. He went to the Olympics, ended up winning 1 or 2 fights, got picked up there from the promoters,
exactly.
and now he's dominating.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn is one of the biggest promoters from obviously being overseas, and if you get on with him, you get looked after. Like they're the fights.
Is that who once got picked up by?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure.
I know he's training with Joshua and
yeah. Eddie Hearn's like the main promoter in the UK, and any fight under him is like you get very well looked after, which is great. You know what I mean? He's earned his spot. They're going to the Olympics and winning 2 fights, so it's very hard to do. But yeah, props to him. Killed it lately, which is good. I've kept up to date with him.
So that's my little sort of claim.
Yeah, no, it's good. Training next to him.
Spoke to him in the change room once.
Changed his towel.
I think he probably remembers me, but used his towel now. But that was about a few weeks ago, man.
It was good. So it was a qualification event for the World Championships in September, which lead to Russia, which was good. I had 3 fights, and all the 3 fights were good fights for me. So I fought all 2 boys that I've beaten before. I fought before and beat, and then there was another boy from New South Wales who was just a bit of a messy fighter. Loved to sit on my chest a little bit. Didn't really let me get my shots off.
What do you mean when you say sit on your chest?
Like, as in, like, he just kept pressure. Like, he wouldn't let me sort of get set. I just had to land a few shots, sneaky shots while I was in close, and sort of get out again and regroup myself, which was good. So I ended up winning the gold medal, which was great. So qualified for the World Championships in Russia. And I ended up picking up the best boxer of the whole tournament trophy, which was the cream of the cake for me. Like, that was the big one.
How many people is that out of?
I'm not too sure. I'd be definitely
pushing like
about 11, 12 weight divisions, males and females.
Wow,
it's quite big.
So
There's some good names in Australia, like a lot of talented boxers who travel.
All the different national champions. I
ended up getting chosen, which was good. So I was
good.
sitting in the room. I was getting tested by Sada, and some little woman. I have no idea who she was. She ran in. She's like, Jason, come out. You've won the Arthur Tunstall trophy. And I was like, you're kidding. And I walked out.
Did the Asada follow you?
Yeah, he had to follow me straight into the ring, which was good.
Really?
And so like when they got given the trophy, there was a lot of, the legends of the sport that were going back a few years ago. Some of the names that were on it, like had won multiple medals overseas, fought for world titles. And now my name goes on there down the bottom, which was good. So every year they sort of, they engrave a new name, and a new national champion will get that trophy. So yeah, I was just very, very pleased.
In good company there.
In good company, absolutely, yeah, for sure. Awesome, it was great. No, it was really good. That was for me. That was probably the best special moment winning that.
And the guy that you fought in the last one, you guys have fought a few times.
Yeah,
had a bit of a history.
We've had 6 fights now. I've beat him 4 times. He's beat me twice. He's a good fighter. He comes to fight every time we're in there together. It's always going to be a bit of a show, when we're in there. He was the one that actually got me for the Com Games.
Okay.
So it was a bit of a sweet revenge to get this one, back over him, knowing that I was up on the scorecards and he still got it. It hurt me for a long time.
Yeah.
So I fought him last year in December and had a good win over him as well. So that I was happy for that. But last year there was no qualification event. It was just a national title, which was good. So to sort of regroup and sort of put my name on the number 1 spot in Australia again, which was great. And then a few months later, obviously being 3 weeks ago, because once you win 1 and 2, they go on the opposite ends of the draw. So I had 2 fights before him. Same as him, he had 2 fights before me. So to the end, it was just a battle of obviously who was going to get there. And we both fought each other. It was a massive turnout. A lot of people there, a lot of people watching and supporting and stuff like that. But yeah, I got the win, which was great. And that one sunk in good.
Yeah,
that meant a lot, that one.
And now you've got Russia in September. So you must be feeling pretty stoked about that.
After a week after I fought, it didn't really sink into me again because I've been to the World Championships before as a junior.
Where was it?
I fought in Kazakhstan. Bit of an odd
My
place.
favourite country.
Yeah. And then so to win it now as an elite, which was good. So I head to Russia. Not exactly too sure where it exactly is. I haven't read the details just yet.
There are a few tough, tough Kazakhstani bosses.
Well, Kazakhstan's one of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah.
They're very, very talented.
I remember watching the Olympics, the last one that was on, and there were some of the Kazakhstani dudes were hard as nails.
Oh, mate, they're tough as nails. They're actually the army over there. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure the army has something to do with boxing over there. So they all work hand in hand together. Like they get paid to fight as well, which is really good. But yeah, so I go over there and it's from the 7th to the 21st of September.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure
It's not in Moscow.
It's not St. Petersburg either. It's another place. I can't remember. But then pre-Russia, there's a Europe camp, which would be good. But I'm just waiting on details. That
you don't know where exactly you're going.
Not just yet. I'm still waiting on an email first. They'll get back to me.
Going to be with the other guys?
With the Australian team.
Oh, with the Australian
with
team.
the Aussie team.
Any of your mates on there?
Yeah, Harry Garside. There's a few Aussie boys over there, which are good. I've boxed with for a few years now. Jack Bowen, the 81 kilo. It's all friends of friends. Obviously, amateur boxing in Australia is a small, tight-knit group, community. You know. So, some very talented boys on there, which you do good, and some good chances.
Do you have any real good mates who have also been to the Olympics and sort of given you a bit of a word up on what the process of? You've been through that process of
I've been through the process before, but it was good. I've had a lot of people like talk to me and give me some good words of advice, and obviously my coach, he's traveled a lot. He's been to the World Championships a few times as well, so he sort of knows the ins and outs and all that kind of stuff, which helps towards the end. Such a big tournament like this, you know, it helps have someone been there before and done it. But I'm looking forward to it. It's good.
So what's the process once you get over there? How do you solidify your spot in Tokyo 2020?
So to go some of the same process as well. So it is an Olympic qualification event. You have to win. I can't remember what it is. I think it's top 4 or top 8. I have to double check. But so if you do medal over there, I'm pretty sure it is a 2020 for the Olympics for Tokyo. That's the big goal. But these are very tough tournaments because everyone around the world who's won their national title is going to be there. So X amount of countries all come into a big division, big pool, and you all get, you know, divided off, and you fight like the best in the world. You know, 3-4. It's going to be a tough competition, which will be good.
How does that feel for you when you get over there? I mean, obviously you've been doing this for a while, and you know you'd back yourself, you'd back your skills, and you're Australian champion. But once you get over there, and you're like every one of these dudes,
it's a different kettle of fish.
This is a different sort of level.
Yeah.
How do you feel once you're going into those fights?
You have to be confident. If you're not confident, you'll go under. You have to be confident. You have to believe in yourself and back yourself the whole way through. I just think I always say to myself, like, I've traveled before. I've been in this position before. If you believe in yourself from that moment, like once you're there, it won't go well for you. So like being there, you have to believe yourself. You have to know that you've earned your position to be there. Being a tough competition, you sort of, you know, if you don't back yourself, it's hard. Like you have to know that you earn your spot, get there, and then follow through with your thoughts to be your action sort of thing. But I won't know until I get there. Once I get there, I'll sort of settle in.
How do you sort of gain that self-belief in yourself? Is it just through hard work?
Yeah, these are hard work, and obviously being boxing for so long and, you know, sort of being at the top of the division for a while, I guess it's something that does come over time. You know, when I was younger, I wasn't obviously this confident, but it is a quiet confidence. Like I'm not sort of someone that showboats it or nothing like that. I just sort of do believe in my ability, and people around me that believe in my ability, like my coach, my friends, my girlfriend.
And that's really important.
It's huge for me. Like my support system, I bounce things off them. They bounce things off me. My best mate as well. Like he's huge. Like for me, like, you know, he obviously pre-fight, get the messages and all that kind of stuff. All my other mates, everyone. Which is good.
That stuff really sort of, you feel
it does. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Like
a lot of people get into a bit of a reclusive sort of stage. Once before their fights.
A lot of people try and shut people out and stuff like that. I'm open to it. Like I talk to anyone really. Like I do take on what everyone says. If anyone's got advice, I do take it, which is important. You know what I mean? In this sport, it's important. You know what I mean? Because there's not one size fits all. You know what I mean? If someone's got a little 2 cents that they can put in, then it might benefit you. If it doesn't, no problems. But
it's a good attitude to have. It's good to be really sort of open-minded about everyone's opinions.
For sure.
They normally will come from a place of care, even though
they haven't put in the hours. Even though they're not there. Yeah, for sure.
Practical and sort of
Kel is like the number one person that I do listen to. Like whatever he says goes, but anything along the way does help. You know what I mean? People from the gym, people from the sparring partners. You know, even like little criticism after your sparring. You know what I mean? Like, you've done this really well, you've done this really well, which is super helpful going into the big competitions.
Yeah.
You know, once they are the big competitions, and then you do remember these little comments over time, they sort of stay with you. You know
Tell us a bit about because I'm really interested to know about Kel as a coach, and he's obviously, you guys have a great relationship.
Yeah.
And I've got Kel on, we're Facebook friends.
Yeah. He loves Facebook.
Met him once. He probably also remembers me. No, we're friends on Facebook, me and Kel, and he is always posting things about you. He seems extremely proud of you.
Yeah.
And as you said, he's a real mentor for you. But I'll let you explain.
He's old school Kel. You know what I mean? Like, whatever he sort of says goes, but he just says how it is straight down the line. If I have a bad night sparring, he lets me know that I have a bad night sparring. But if I know that I have a bad night sparring, he'll call me when I'm home and say, you know, you do this next time, do this. So he's outside of the gym. He's a bit more than a trainer to me. Like, I've been in my corner for many years now. Everything he says is just very like, we always have a plan before I fight. Like, even before I spar, there's a plan. Like, before every training session, there's a plan. So if I know that I follow his plan, like leading into these big competitions, I'll be right. He's trained me like many good fighters over the years, and he's extremely proud of me and stuff like that. And he always does push me to my furthest, even sometimes when I get in the training and I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling well, or I'm tired, I'm sick. And he sort of just says, oh, Jace is back, you know. But no, he's good like that. You know, he's black and white. He's old school, you know, because he's been in the army for many years, and there's no BS about him, you know what I mean? He is what it is. And there'll be nights where you don't perform in the gym and he just says, like, you weren't on tonight. You know what I mean? So you just go home and you think, like, oh, he'll call you and say, you know, you need to think about this, you need to do this, which is important as a boxer.
It must be really must make you feel 10 feet tall, having somebody who knows you in and out like that as well.
Yeah. Well, being with him for many years was super handy. You know, like, he just sort of, if he knows that I have an off night, he knows that something's not right. You know what I mean? So he is better than that. He will call me and say, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? Why weren't you on tonight? I'll just sort of say, oh, you had a long day at work, or whatever it may be. And he's very understanding like that, which is great. He's not like, come on, go harder. Like, he understands. He understands when you're at your peak and we need to pull back a little bit, which is great. You know what I mean? He's not just flogging me every other day. Yeah. Most days he is, but, you know.
Well, obviously. It's the sport.
Yeah, like, exactly.
I think that, like, a guy like Kel, you know, and like a lot of other, you know, martial arts coaches who are really good, especially in the Australian scene, there's not much money in it.
No,
so
exactly.
It's not like people are doing it to get rich.
Well, everyone does it out of pure passion. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like,
a really beautiful thing. I
think a lot of people in the amateur scene, like a lot of young boxers, they turn pro too early. You know what I mean? They think that they're chasing this big dollar sign, when if you don't really have the big accreditations behind you, you know, you sort of do go into a big, deep fish with like big fish in there. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to start out first fight, get millions of dollars. Like, it's not going to happen like that. Like, I know a lot of people that sort of like turn pro too early, and then after a few fights, they sort of regret it a little bit. Yeah. But, you know, even with Kel, like, Kel obviously doesn't make much money, or doesn't make any money out of the boxing. You know what I mean? He sort of does it for the love. He's been doing it for many, many years, and he just does it because he always says to us, he goes, I just want you guys to progress. And that's what's important. You know what I mean? He's not in there for the right or wrong reasons. He just wants purely people to progress and achieve what they can achieve throughout their boxing career, you know, which is super handy.
Yeah. How's that sort of translated to you? Because obviously, we know this, but you've got your jumper on right here, which is Crew, which is your business. Yeah. I've got the Team Mallia. I'll just show anyone who's watching. The Team Mallia jumper on, which is cool. So you've got your personal training business.
Yeah.
First of all, how does that sort of translate the relationship that you've had with your coaches into the way that you sort of care for people as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So Crew is with me and my best mate Damon. We run this company together. But running it through like my boxing career it has to be professional, it has to be straight down the line with everything that we do as well. I'm lucky, very lucky. I've got Damon in my corner. That's super supportive as well. Like me traveling a lot with boxing. So what I translate from boxing is like bringing that boxing aspect into my personal training business. You know, being boxing for 10, 11 years now, it's important. When people want to learn how to box and stuff like that, they know that I've got 10 years behind me, which is super handy. And having Damon being in the strength and conditioning and myself being in the strength and conditioning, to put two forces together, it's important. But yeah, they work well together. Like to my boxing and then like translating it into this is great. You know, it's done wonders for our business so far, which is good.
Yeah, and I've got a few mates as well who train with you guys on the strength and conditioning work is absolutely awesome. You guys have helped people to seriously hit some goals as well. So tell me a bit about your sort of philosophies as a trainer and how you're getting the best out of people.
Well, the best thing about
is unique thing you guys got going on.
Yeah, so me and Damon, like, we are two young blokes and we're very understanding with, who we are and what we want to coach to people. We're doing well so far. We've got a lot of clients behind us and stuff like that. We're ready to make the move into a bigger gym. But the reason with us is it's straight, like same as I said before, it's straight down the line with training. Some people, like, it's not for everyone, the strength and conditioning. It's not for people that sort of, I don't know, it is for most people, but if people don't want to push themselves to the next level, like, we can only help you so much. But when people get comfortable with myself and Damon, people feel comfortable to push harder in the gym, which is great. You know what I mean? Like having that
rapport.
Yeah, on everyone else as well. Like, people know that we've had the athletic background before and we train hard and we've done it before, so they can do it as well in our space, which is great. It works well for us, which is good.
And I think from, like, I follow you guys on Instagram and I'm good mates with you boys as well. From looking at it, it looks like it's a bit of a community sort of vibe, similar sort of thing.
Absolutely.
To what we like. We're trying to get going at what we've got at FightFit as well, having that real close friendship with people
absolutely.
in the gym.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because often times when you go into gyms, it can be quite an intimidating, daunting experience. Yeah. But when I walked into FightFit, I think, like, some of the things, like, it's very, very well lit. There aren't many professionals who are really
exactly. It's a very welcoming area.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of sort of aspects to FightFit that I found really welcoming as opposed to, like, big intimidating.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like you guys have a similar
so crew is more about, like, being a collective, being a community with everyone. That's what we want. We want our space. We move into our space within the next month. But we want people to feel safe with us. We with us, it's more about training. We're not just a personal training studio. Like, we become with people, with all our clients, become friends with them as well. So they do feel comfortable. It's not just a PT session or a boxing session where you rock up, you do your session and you go on. We want to be more than that. We want to bridge the gap in the industry where people come to us and they feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, I would expect my clients, if something wasn't right or they didn't feel well, call me, message me. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I'm only the same as you, but that's what we want. We want everyone to feel welcome, get on board and just train and feel good. At the end of the day, everyone's chasing the same goal. Feel good, exercise regularly, achieve whatever they want to achieve, whether it's fat loss or put on weight or learn how to box. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's in the same thing. And if we can do it all together with the same energy and the same vibe around us, why not?
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So I think that caring for the actual people is, like, from all my experience with gyms, boxing gyms, everything, strength conditioning, that's what sets the good ones apart.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Like, people who
you want to be more PT most of the time these days. A lot of people train with you because they want someone to talk to as well. Yeah. Like, when you're a trainer, you're more than just a trainer. You don't just stand there for 45 minutes and say, hey, do this. You get to know the person. You know what I mean? Like, you get to know, as we do a lot of group training. So when people come into our gym, everyone's doing high fives, shaking hands. Like, that's important. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting comfortable with the people around you.
And enjoying that process.
Absolutely
as well,
right.
Because the process is really fucking difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
Really daunting as well. And, it's also good to be able to have someone to just chat to about it and feel comfortable about it, because you can get really self-conscious about these sorts of things too. And then to have to see progress and to see your friends having progress and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a really beautiful experience.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's more than just, we have a lot of support groups on Facebook and stuff like that. We partner up with a mental health organization, Love Me, Love You, which is a great thing because our demographic is a little bit younger. So it's good because when people see that we're partnering up this, they do sort of feel that comfortable vibe with us. You know what I mean? Like, we have a lot of support groups on Facebook, and one post on Monday may just be to see how everyone's pulled up from the weekend. Are they ready to start the week of training? You know what I mean? Like, it's more than just.
Are these private groups?
Our private Facebook groups. When you do come like a crew member, you do get access to these and stuff like that. We got, like, nutrition, because a lot of things with us with personal training is nutrition. They go hand in hand. We have a nutritionist on board who controls our groups, and, like, a lot of our people post their photos of their food and stuff like that, and she just goes through and just sort of marks and says, you can add this, you should change this, try this, which is great. And when people get that comfortable with each other, like on Facebook and stuff, especially this group's got nearly 200 people, so when people feel comfortable to post and get that feedback, positive feedback, they start to post more regularly. And then when they post more regularly, interrupts in the gym. Like they're coming through in the gym and they're feeling comfortable because they've posted on here, and it all just works together. Which is great.
That is
which is really, really good
to have that positive feedback as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Because as much as it can be a competitive environment as well,
absolutely,
gyms, having that place where you can genuinely like get really positive feedback and have, you know, like guys around you care for you is just super important. I'm more interested in the mental health side of things. What's your inspiration behind partnering up with
so we partnered with Love Me Love You late last year with Damon and myself. We're both either gone through stuff or like know people that have gone through stuff. And this day and age, it's coming more occurring that people are going through stuff. And we see that, you know, as personal trainers, we want to make sure that you can tell when someone walks into the gym and they're not right, or if they're missing sessions and stuff like that. So I don't know, last year we done a charity walk, Port Melbourne to Maribyrnong, just a long thing. It was great. It's like a mental health organization. So what Love Me Love You is, they bridge the gap. They're an organization where you can contact them and then they feed you off in the right direction. You know, so sort of if you call and you have something wrong, they organize for you where to go or who to call or who to speak to. So a professional that can help you right in that area, which is important, man. Like this day and age, it's more occurring. And, you know, if we like it or not, people need someone to speak to, and they need, being two young blokes that are running the company, and we have someone that's there for us. Like on our open day, we're going to have charity speakers that comes down and tells their story about us, which encourages more people to be open and feel comfortable to talk about their own story, which is good.
And when you say your story, is that something that that you divulge with your clients as well?
Yeah, well, everyone's got their own story at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Is whoever sort of says theirs, if they don't say it or if they do. It's important that people, like if they see that I'm comfortable to talk about mine or Damon's comfortable to speak about his, then they get that, I can talk about this to my trainers and stuff like that. Or I can speak to someone, a professional, you know what I mean? Because it's always better to talk. And that's what we try to push to people.
And often as well, with the Australian champion boxer or the strength and conditioning whiz, you don't expect those guys to be vulnerable.
Well, of course, everyone goes through their own stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know, not saying that I went through stuff before boxing, but boxing puts a lot of pressure on you. And I'm very lucky that I have a good support crew to talk to, you know, to avoid them sort of pressures that do come along. Same with Damon. Damon played high level football in the VFL, so it's important that, you know, he had someone to talk to. We're both lucky that we have very good families that do the same for us. You know what I mean? So if we can have that aspect for our clients and say that they feel comfortable when they come to our gyms, because it's going to be a safe space, then that's important for me. For like when someone's battling and comes to the gym to feel good, like exercise makes you feel good. You know what I mean? So if someone can come and train and feel well and comfortable in our area, that's one job ticked off for me, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think it's so good to have young dude. I think it's just like the importance of it is immeasurable to have young guys like yourselves who are high achieving guys, but also not afraid to show your flaws and vulnerabilities.
Absolutely, yeah, for
You're
sure.
a great example on young people, I feel, and I reckon that would be at a real level of comfortability for people to be able to.
Absolutely, people can relate. You know, people can relate to two young guys or a couple people in the gym. That's gonna make them feel better. You know what I mean? Not everyone's putting a wall up these days. Like
and
some
doing
people do.
A support, like a healthy support network.
Absolutely,
as well,
yeah, for sure.
You guys are, you know, reaching fitness goals and stuff, as opposed to, you know, just going out on the weekend and, you know, doing whatever,
of course,
and like sort of drowning your pain. You're rather like, you know, being
and a lot of like, you know, these days a lot of mental health problems stem from body composition and stuff like that. People aren't happy with where they are, or they're not comfortable in their own skin, so they start to change where they think and their thought patterns and stuff like that. But it's important. That's why we have that network, that we can be comfortable within the area. You know what I mean? Everyone should be comfortable in their own skin or work to what they want to be, or, you know what I mean? So it's important to have people. Like, I'm not a professional on mental health, but it's important to have that aspect of someone does feel comfortable and they do open up to me. I can say, here, I speak to these guys. You know what I mean? These guys are the ones that are going to help you. And I appreciate you for opening up to me, which is good.
Wow, so you've actually had, I know you're not going to sort of say any examples, but
absolutely. Absolutely. You follow me. You follow me on social media. You know that I post a lot of like mental health stuff. I'm big on that kind of stuff. Having like friends close to me and stuff like that, which is battle with it. So it's important. I post regularly. I post 2-3 times a week. Mental health. I post numbers. I spoke. My door's always open. You can always call me. You can message me. Although it's social media, people see that. People remember that. With these day and age, it's very important, man. Like being young people, party a lot. Get on the wrong sort of the scene. It's important that they do have someone that they can see reoccurring on your Facebook feed. Oh, he's posted that. He's posted that. Who do you remember when you need to call someone? So you can sort of stem out to people, which is good. And I've had people message me all the time. Yeah, which is important. And I feel happy that I appreciate the fact that they can reach out to me, which is good.
And you've had occasions where you've been, actively sort out help for other people.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Which is good. So if people see that, like people always know that I post, and I like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like people always thank me for posting, but for me, it's 2 seconds. You know what I mean? But for me to source someone in the right direction, 2 minutes of my time. But if they can help them in the long run, that's my job done.
And it's also, that's something that it really transcends the mechanics and the physiology of exercising. It's also something that's, so good for your mental.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
And on the mechanics of it, I'm interested to know when you get a client who's, say, really overweight or has a lot of work to do in reaching their goals, how do you go about that? How do you go about making someone feel comfortable?
It's a mental game. So obviously you get to know them as well. Like, it's more of a process than just saying, hey, jump in the session, you'll be right, give it 6 weeks, you'll be fine. It's more than that. So you have to find out what's stemming the problem. You know what I mean? So once you find out what's stemming the problem, you can give suggestions and say, hey, let's try this for a fortnight. If this doesn't work for you, let's try something else. There's many things, tries that something's not going to work for you straight away. Obviously, the reason why they're there is because something's not happening correctly. So it's important to stem deeper than what that is and go a little bit deeper into the conversation and say, hey, like, what do you do on the weekend, or what do your nights look like? How's your relationship with food? You know what I mean? And people a lot of time these days will hide and say, oh yeah, it's fine, it's all good, but deep down it's obviously not. So it's important to sort of get through a little bit deeper, get people exercising at a rate they feel comfortable at. Very hard to push someone into the deep end and say, hey, do 10 sessions a week, you'll be right. Weight will jump off you. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? I'll hate it after 9 days.
I'm actually struggling with something similar with someone close to me at the moment who I'm trying to sort of get to, like, for their own health reasons and stuff, to get to maybe exercise more.
It's important, man. It's baby steps. And
it's really interesting to you say that get through the root of the problem, try different things,
exactly,
as opposed to being sort of
say, hey, exactly, of course,
what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more. It's much more than just not exercising and eating bad. A lot of people stress from work, or your work relationship might not be great. So what do you do when you go home? You binge eat. You know what I mean? And then it just starts a vicious cycle that just doesn't stop. And to get out, people think, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to get out of this. But people need to talk and express themselves and say, like, I have a problem. Like, this is what's going on. Or it might be something simple, like, stop eating so much on a weekend, or for example, make better food choices, but there always is the stem of the problem is a lot deeper than what is just, in our consultation, someone not going to open up to me in 30 seconds and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. How do I stop? Yeah. It's much more than that.
So I'm just asking for a mate here. But
that's all right.
I've got a mate who sometimes goes out to Greek restaurants a few times a week. And
I think I know this bloke.
He eats a bit too much and struggles with his portions a little bit. What would you say to this mate of
Greek's
mine?
nice though. You can't deny Greek.
You've come with me a few times.
I have actually. I myself have eaten a lot that night.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, you know what people want to have in mind. Like, what's the end goal? You know what I mean? If someone wants to lose 1 kilo or 10 kilos, it is, you know what I mean? Like, baby steps, little changes, different mindsets. And if you know that, like, deep down, if you look at your plan, that serving size is way too big for me. Then it's just a conscious decision to say, hey, I need to cut this down a little bit. It's more important for me to say, what's more important, these chips or
for one on the lips, forever on the hips.
That's what they say, don't they?
But I just find sometimes, when you've had your calamari entree, or when my mate's had his calamari entree, and
no one wants to leave anything on the table.
The meat tray, and there's still food there, and you just
that's life, but so you know what I mean. That's what happens. You know what I mean?
And it's really, really difficult to find that. I don't know if I told you I used to be 110 kilos.
I
used to have
incredible.
terrible relationship with food. And it can be so difficult to balance, having rigorous exercise
of course,
in your life and also
yeah.
having a good relationship with food.
Absolutely. When I was younger, I had a bad one as well. Like, because what happened was boxing and making weight all the time was just very strenuous. And like, when you're a boxer, you always have to lose weight. You're in this mindset. You always have to lose weight. You're overweight. You know what I mean? So I was fighting at like 60, 64. And to make the weight was just daunting. Like every time I thought I had to fight, I was just like, oh man, 3 weeks of eating like nothing. It just killed me.
Boxing gyms can sometimes.
Yeah, they push. Sometimes they push the wrong thing.
Like,
yeah,
you see some of the dudes around here just shredded to shit.
And I'm lucky, like in our gym as well. Kel's very good on the way he pushes nutrition. You know what I mean? Because it's important. People do fall into holes in like how they train, how they eat, because you think, oh my god, I need to make weight. If I don't make weight, I can't fight. If you're 0.1 over on like scales, like for a boxing tournament, you're gone. You can't fight. So it's like for me, when I was younger, being 64, like I'd be all right at like 65 kilos. The last kilo would kill me. After I'd fought, I'd get straight back up to like 70 kilos. And I'd go to training the next day. I'm like, man, why am I doing this for? It's too hard. You know what I mean? Like, and you'd spend a week getting back down to your normal weight. And then you'd have to try. And then it's just like higher, lower, higher, lower. It's just a vicious cycle.
Have you seen what they're doing in one FC?
Nah, someone's told me about that actually. Nah.
So what they do is they have hydration tests, and then you have to fight at the weight that is like the
allocated
natural body.
Yeah.
So a lot of the guys, they'll be fighting at 65 when they'll be walking around at 71 or more, and they're really dehydrating you obviously know this, dehydrating the shit out of themselves to get down to that weight. And what they're doing at 1FC is they're having these hydration tests and stuff. So it's like, cut the bullshit. This is what you
exactly.
Instead of sort of damaging your health and potentially taking years of your life.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was younger, actually, I spent a lot of time at the AIS in Canberra, obviously doing boxing trips, and I used to spend weeks and months there and all that kind of stuff. And there was one camp that I went to every single morning. They used to test our urine. So like obviously depending on what color it was, they used to put this little device in there, and it would come up, it would put a reading on there, and they'd just say to you like, you're way too dehydrated for what you are. And I remember when I was 64 kilos, I wanted to box at 60 because I just thought to myself, like, I could lose the extra 4 kilos and box a little bit lighter. I'd have that advantage over people. But it took the fun away from the sport. Like I didn't enjoy training at that when I was at that weight. And pardon me. And every morning when we woke up, they'd just say like, you can't train until you have to hydrate. So next morning obviously you train that day, but the next morning, if your urine wasn't a better color or a better sample, they just say to you like, what are you doing at this weight? Like you're either eating way too much and cutting too much water, or you're not eating properly. So then you'd get sent to the nutritionist. The nutritionist would say, hey, like, what do you? Exactly. Like it was great. And I back when I was then, I learned a lot about the nutrition and fight sports, combat sports, and losing weight and putting on weight. So then when I boxed at 64 for many years, I made the decision. Me and Kel, we sat down and we said, I come back. I had like a month or two off, and I come back at like 71 kilos, and Kel was like 64 days are done. I'm like, yeah, they're finished.
So then
so then I grew up. I grew into the 69 kilo division, and then I just stayed there. So now for me, losing weight isn't as daunting as what it used to be. Like I don't have to lose 4 kilos in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I have to lose 1 or 2 max, and I just sit around this weight comfortably. And it's better for me because my body wanted to grow into 69. Like I've grown into it. I'm a lot more stronger than what I used to be at 64. Yeah. 64 is to hop around and spring hit and jump and move, and you know what I mean. Like now I'm a man. I can sort of sit down on my feet and throw stronger shots and bigger body punches, bigger head shots.
So
and
you're
all that
enjoying
kind of
that
stuff. Yeah, exactly. Because it's fun. I can eat what I like. I don't have to kill myself, and I can just. It brings the sport. Boxing should always be fun, and like eating food should be fine. You know what I mean? But as soon as you start restricting yourself, bad relationships, you start hating the sport, you start hating the nutrition. You know what I mean? It just gets stressful,
man. Having to balance all
just gets stressful. So it's like if you don't understand the correct balance of your nutrition, how important it is in boxing, it's a daunting experience.
Yeah, totally. Tell us a bit more about our crew, and tell us about the Bali retreat that you do, and also the murals that you've got going on at the gym that you're going to open up.
Yeah. So
first of all, if you guys want to follow them on Instagram, it's Crew Official, CREW Official.
Jump on. So the Bali retreats, we ran one last year. This was our first one, and it ran amazing. It was awesome. Like 2 young blokes running a retreat. It wasn't just like a very health-based retreat. It was good. Like, we trained twice a day. We done volcano hiking, surfing. There was days of night times where we had a few drinks after our training sessions and stuff like that. It was just a very good small community. You know what I mean? Like, we enjoyed what Bali had to offer. It was awesome. While you're like, for us, myself and Damon, it was like, obviously we worked over there, but it was almost like not work, you know. So we've got another one coming up in October from the 6th to the.
Is it booked out?
There's 3 or 4 spots left actually.
I might jump in.
Yeah. Which is good. It's a very good experience. Obviously, you get to see what Bali has to offer while training hard. What we do in Melbourne, we do over there. We run boxing sessions on the beach. You know what I mean? Just heaps of stuff. Like, it's enjoyable.
I love the surfing and volcano hiking stuff.
The little things. Like, it's not all about training. You know what I mean? Like, there was just so many cool things
I was
that
in,
you had to. What Bali has to offer.
Last few weeks, and going down to Byron Bay, up in Sunshine Coast, doing all those
better than Melbourne's
hikes,
cold
trail
weather.
running.
Yeah.
Man, I was enjoying it so much.
No, it's
I
great.
would never normally run 20Ks, but I was doing these 20K trails and just loving it. Man.
Being outside your comfort zone and your normal atmosphere, it's better to sort of, like, you know, when you're around, especially being in Bali, when you're around people that are just pushing themselves, training hard. When you're in Melbourne, sometimes it's hard, like it's cold, you know, you don't want to train that hard. But then when you go over there, you got all this warm weather, you've got guys that are training next to you, people that are pushing you. It's an awesome atmosphere, and people do push further than what they think. Last time when we were there, I think most of our clients on the retreat extended their trip and just chilled for like 4 or 5 days after.
Awesome.
I still trained as well, as well.
But even, you deserve it after a good.
Of course, yeah. Like, after you go through a bit of a training retreat, everyone was like, "Oh, that was awesome!" Like, they just chilled for a little bit, and they're like, "We'll stick on for another 4 or 5 days, train, chill, drink." Like, it's good. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, good fun.
And you guys are opening up at Braybrook, right?
Braybrook, the new gym. So it's exciting times ahead. We're at the moment, it's a very busy process. Like, there's a lot of tradies in there and all that kind of stuff. It's all coming together. You know, a few weeks ago, it was just an empty shell.
You guys are keeping your cards close to your chest. I've been following your Instagram.
We are.
Getting
Absolutely. Not much.
I can't leak any information out of you before you put it out.
Not much coming out. But yeah, in a few weeks, we will also release a bit more information and stuff like that. But it will be the go-to. That's for sure.
Yeah. Awesome, man. And as I said, guys, follow them on Instagram as well. I'm on Team Mallia too.
That's the one, absolutely.
I might just keep this. Now, I was going to read the questions out, man. I think we got people asking questions.
I'm scared about these, actually.
Right. So, Seamus Tippett says, "Big fan, Jason."
I'll get him this weekend.
Do you still get nervous before you fight? Says Sean Hag.
Yeah, I guess there is like a sense of, you're going into a fight. Like, it's important to you're human. You know what I mean? Like, you are going to have that sense of nervous anxiety a little bit before you fight. But like, going back to what I said before, it's important that you back yourself and you believe that you've done all the hard work being there. Not as much as what I used to. When I was younger, I used to run every 30 seconds to the toilet, like have a quick wee, go back in, go back to the toilet again.
I do that before footy still every week.
I do one before this podcast, actually.
I saw that. You ran off.
I was like, I was going to wash my hands quickly. But nah, like, but now I went to the toilet, right? But now it's important, man. Like, I do a little bit, but it's a good nervous. Like, it's a confident nervous. The other bloke on the other side of the ring is trying to kill you.
Yeah,
so it's important.
He should be more nervous.
Yeah, is that he absolutely.
Talk about your best mate and how good he is by Damon the Fridge Felsen.
The Fridge Felsen.
Give him a shout out.
Yeah, my boy.
Which friend has got the biggest head? Says Seamus.
Definitely Seamus.
Seamus got the biggest head, so he stitched himself.
Oh, him and Damon are pretty hand in hand.
So do you have any stories about that? Everyone's asking about the fridge. Tell us about Damon. Give us a story.
He's a funny character, man. He's probably sitting there laughing at me. They all wish me luck for throwing in here, but he's good. Like, he's obviously the core pillar of our business as well. Like, without him, well, the thing wouldn't go ahead. He's very business minded. He's self motivated. He's passionate, which is good because when two young people come together and they can create something big like this. Like, he's flat out at work. He's very, very good at what he does. And that's why people go to train with him. Like, these days, he's like, all his groups are full. And that's what. How about
your relationship? Because you guys are actually very different characters.
So we've been best mates for now, probably short of like 8 years. But But yeah, he's the hot-headed one. And everyone knows he's the hot-headed one. They call him a firecracker. I'm just the more understanding one. You know what I mean? Like, I've never really argued with Damon. I've never argued with him at all. Like, you know, we have a little bickers now and then, but it's important that I know when he's angry, I just know what not to say and what to say. Yeah. Or if I'm mad at him, I just will say one thing and trigger him and he's gone. You know what I mean? Like, but no, he's good quality. You
guys got to have the banter though as well.
Oh, mate, you say one thing and he'll give you banter for 4 weeks.
Seamus says, did Mum make pasta tonight?
No, I'm not too sure.
What's your favourite boxing glove to wear? Says Mitchell Anthony.
Favourite boxing glove to wear would be winning. Absolutely winning. No, winning for sure. Winning today. The way they fit is unbelievable. Like I've had a pair for probably like 4 years now, and they're still pretty much brand new.
All right, kiss, kill, marry with Michael Anthony, Seamus Tippett, and Damon Felsen. So yeah, fuck one, marry one, kill one.
I'd marry Mitch. Mitch is like low maintenance. Fucking, or probably kill Seamus and marry Damo.
Who would wear the pants in that relationship?
Definitely me. Yeah. Definitely me. Oh, they're probably messaging me now. My phone's probably going off. Yeah. They won't be happy with me after this.
So, did you prefer to box with or without headgear? Do you see it as a disadvantage using it?
Well, so the start of my career, I boxed with it a lot. Obviously, that was the rules and the regulations. And then probably, I think it was the start of 2014, I had my first fight without it. And the whole boxing community was everyone took them off, all the elites took them off. So in the first year, there was a lot of head clashes, a lot of cuts.
What's the go with that? Because I heard that it was because of the surface area of like the headgear.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. They say that these days the foaming in it packs more of an impact, or you know what I mean. Like, I feel like you're much more aware without it. Like, say if someone throws a big shot and so I had to fight recently with as you know, you were there. I was fuming. But for insurance purposes around Melbourne, it's very annoying. Like when you I've fought without it for nearly 5 years now. To put it back on again was just like I felt like I was just constantly readjusting it. And it's better to show your face when you fight. Exactly. You know what I mean?
But also, you know, you're dealing with centimeters. I can't talk for you, but you know, I centimeters for me when I box. Yeah, but, you know, and it's like you're more likely to get hit. There's
absolutely. For sure. Like I said before, like if someone does throw a big shot and someone does just swing past your face, it sort of will grab it and turn your head a little bit. And in boxing, the judges, they look for like blows. And if you're being aggressive and someone's, you know, if you're bullying someone and you see their head constantly moving, even though you may not be typically hitting their face, that's sort of disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work in your favor, obviously.
What about bare knuckle?
Bare knuckle.
What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I've had a few of them.
Did you watch the
that was just like, I don't know. I didn't get to watch it. That was like Paulie Malignaggi or something, wasn't it? Recently, right. Yeah. I don't know. It's just very dangerous, man. Like I spoke to a kickboxer recently, and he said, obviously he wears gloves and stuff as well, but having the bare skin fighting with like your elbows and your knees and stuff. He said even when you win, you lose. And I was like, oh, what did you mean by that? And he's like, the injuries are just so harsh in your skin, and you know, tearing your skin and breaking a bone or something like that, or even in your hand, it's so dangerous. It puts you out for a lot longer than what you want to be.
Bastards in that.
Yeah, exactly. Not my kind of sport, that's for sure. You know, even getting kicked and stuff, not for me.
Man. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. I reckon I've changed my opinion about it since the bare knuckle.
I didn't get to watch it, but apparently I seen their faces after. It wasn't pretty. That's for sure.
I used to really quite like the idea of it.
You'll see, it's just like hectic on the way their blows. Like there was a fight on the weekend, he knocked a bloke out in like 5 seconds with a knee to their head and 3 hammer punches. You know what I mean? And the bloke was seeing stars. Unbelievable. When it went for 5 seconds, it was just brutal.
Another dimension.
Yeah, not fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's stiff as a board. It was one of the worst.
I've ever seen. Yeah, I've seen that. I'm not like a massive fan of the UFC. I don't know, just never really grabbed my attention. I do appreciate it. Like it's brutal and you're a tough bugger if you do it, obviously, but it's just, it's not for me.
Yeah. I absolutely love watching it.
Yeah. It is. It's very entertaining.
In terms of doing it, I was just speaking to Christian, one of the coaches here who you know as well tonight, and I was walking past his classes and I was like, man, fuck getting kicked.
Yeah, exactly. Not fun. Not my kind
No
of sport.
way.
That's for sure. Like it is very. I like my shins the way they are. You know what I mean? My elbows and all that kind of stuff. They're not. Yeah. They do start to transform over a while.
Yeah, and he was telling me how he's got burst blood vessels in his thighs
and the ears and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like cauliflowers.
Yeah. Anyways. Hey Jason, was just keen to hear your thoughts on split squats and the benefits they bring, says Stephen Curry.
Apparently the best glute exercise in the world. Very good though.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're not bad. They're very good leg exercise.
I don't even know what they are, split squats.
Just a single leg squat, really, yeah.
How do you come back from a big boxing disappointment? Good question, Seamus. Why don't, mate? You're on fire.
That would go back to my support crew for sure. Like my support crew is huge. I've had a lot of disappointments in the boxing scene before, like qualifying for stuff and not going, but it takes time. Like I remember a few years back, it was 2014. I was 18. I was fresh out of division. First year without the head guards. Went from the youth to the elite. It was my first year as an elite. I won the Australian title. I was 18 years old, and then that was to qualify for Glasgow. And so after that, they shipped us straight off to Canberra. We're training there, and then it was news to me that it was a selection camp. And being the 18-year-old, I was young, full of experience as well. And they cut me from the squad. So I was supposed to go to Glasgow. I had my uniform and everything, and then they pulled the pin. And I was heartbroken for ages. I didn't box for a long time. I tried to put gloves on like 10 weeks later. I remember putting them on and just crying. Like I just couldn't do it. And then, slowly, just friends, being around you, being supportive and all that kind of stuff. It's very handy.
May you eventually get back on the horse.
That's exactly right. That's why these wins now, they're so sweet. You know what I mean? To come from such disappointments years ago and to come back now and to finally show your hard work pays off if you stay consistent. It's good.
That's one, man. So Seamus says, I heard you drink almond milk. How do you milk an almond? That is a ripper question.
Don't know.
How do you milk
by the nuts, I think.
Hi, Jason. Can you refer me to your barber, please? Says Dean. I think your mates are having a field day.
Dean's got that much hair in his head. It's a joke.
Is it true the fridge blew up at Nationals?
Yeah.
I saw the videos of Damon going pretty wild.
He had a few leaks in his seals that day. He was pretty loose.
Is it true that Stephen yelled across the room at Nationals to the other fighters'
and
crew
then hid behind someone else?
Hid behind Damon, the fridge fells. And
I don't know what went on. I think there was a lot of back and forth stuff going. And then I got out of the ring, and then I heard that Curry. That's what his name is. His last name's Curry.
Is it?
Yeah.
This is better. Go for it.
And then I don't know, must have said something about my opponent and then jumped behind the boys that were, a little bit bigger than him, I think. But I don't know. It could be fibs.
So Tyrone says, is it true that you were the bare knuckle boxing champ in the back streets of Laverton?
Nah, it's not
is
true.
There any
That's
truth
a false
to this?
Nah.
Yeah?
He's telling fibs, Tyrone.
False. All right, man. Tell everyone where they can find you.
On Instagram at JJ Mallia, at Crew Official, and in Braybrook in the next few weeks, man. Yeah. Jump on board.
Stay up.
Come down. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, man, it's so good to chat to you on the podcast.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
You and Damon are like doing awesome stuff, great influences on people.
Yeah.
And having an awesome impact on people's lives too.
Thanks.
So.
I know they're all watching now.
Yeah.
I cop a few messages after this.
Yeah. Anyways,
thank you very much, bro. Appreciate it a lot.